Welcome to a new season of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship, and welcome to a new venue as well, because this season we're going to start and finish here at Silverstone, the home of British motor racing, a whole new circuit constructed not only for the British Championship but also the World Championship coming here in May. The entry this year is absolutely stunning across all the classes. We've got some new names, some defending champions, returning drivers, and this weekend in the Supercar category in particular, one or two from the World Championship coming to explore Silverstone, and they are certainly going to be well worth watching. It all bodes well for a great day's racing to kick off a great season.
Mark Higgins, welcome to the MSA British Rallycross Championship. A huge amount of experience in rallying, but racing a rallycross supercar at Silverstone will be a new experience for you.
Yeah, it's all brand new. I had to go in the RX 150 about 10 years ago, which I really enjoyed down at Pembrey, but never driven one of these before. Massive competition here and a new circuit, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's good to do something different, and yeah, we'll see what it's like in about 10 minutes' time.
Julian Godfrey, 5-time MSA British Rallycross champion. You just missed out on a 6th title last year, and you turn up for 2018 with a new car here at Silverstone.
Yeah, new Mitsubishi Mirage. It's really just try this event and maybe Lydden and to see how it goes. Just try and get a bit of track time, trying to develop the car a little bit because it's got our new custom engine in there, so the circuit looks really good.
This is the big one, the Supercar Final in the MSA British Rallycross Championship. Sebastian Loeb goes from pole, Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backerud with him at the front. Then it's Kevin Proctor, Mark Higgins on row 2 from Julian Godfrey, Steve Hill and Roger Thomas. The lights will go green now, we're racing, Proctor goes nowhere, more dramas for him. Good start by Hansen, he leads the pack up towards turn 1, but Loeb has the inside line. Hansen is sideways, Backerud tries to jump him. He also tries to get ahead of Loeb as well. Is it going to work for him? Let's see. Hansen's on the outside line. Godfrey 4th. Hansen gets elbowed out wide. Mark Higgins tries to get up the inside if he can as well. But while all the dramas are going on, Sebastian Loeb is away and gone. Backerud runs 2nd. Hansen 3rd as they come over the lead. Godfrey 4th. It's Higgins in 5th place. And remember, there's a separate battle in a way going on here to be the best of the Brits, because they will score points and the WRX drivers don't. Loeb leads the race. He wants the glory. He wants also to leave Silverstone with a good idea of what the track is all about and a good setup on the car, although surely it's going to be warmer and drier come late May when we have the World Championship round here. Over the line at the end of lap 1, it is Loeb leading Backerud by a 2nd. There, Julian Godfrey is 4th, but he's the best of the British Championship drivers, fending off this man, Mark Higgins. Battle on for 2nd place because Andreas Backerud now is defending from Timmy Hansen. Hansen won the semi-final in which the two of them squabbled. Backerud dominated qualifying. He was fastest in all 3 qualifying races. And Mark Higgins' Peugeot has a big spin coming out of turn 4. Gets himself off the road and tries now to accelerate away, but oh so nearly is attacked by Roger Thomas. Roger Thomas got sideways as well, coming out of the right-hander at turn 4. Nearly walloped the back there of the stranded car of Mark Higgins. That was very close indeed. Now, up front, Loeb is getting away, no question. Backerud busy defending. Timmy Hansen right there behind him. He runs 3rd here as the cars sprint their way over the lead. Sebastian Loeb then, race leader, soon to become race winner surely, because as Mark Higgins has rejoined with problems, Loeb is a long way clear. Higgins clearly has got a drama. The race leaders then accelerate their way here out of turn 6. Backerud versus Hansen, 2nd and 3rd, the two of them together. But it's Loeb still charging on. Mark Higgins, I fear, is going to retire from this race, and that's not going to help for points. Sebastian Loeb, in the meantime, is looking oh so strong up front. Now, what about 2nd place as the Joker unwinds? It's Backerud versus Hansen. There is Julian Godfrey, who is hanging on to 4th, and in fact, Mark Higgins, who is trying to get to the end, goes a lap down here. Loeb charges past him. Sebastian Loeb, then, the race leader, comes out now from turn 4, the 9 times World Rally Champion, the Junior World Champion. He's raced at Le Mans, he's raced in the World Touring Car Championship, now very much a committed part of World Rallycross, and it's great to have him here in the British Championship this weekend. He's put many a man through the gate. There is Roger Thomas with a bit of front damage to the Focus after a few heavy landings over the course of the day, and also a little bit of contact early on with Julian Godfrey. Godfrey, though, still looks like he's going to take away the points in the British Championship, and spare a thought for Kevin Proctor, because his day has, I'm afraid, gone from bad to worse. At least he got into the final, but stranded on the grid, and so Proctor's season does not start anywhere near how he wanted it to. Sebastian Loeb, in the meantime, though, is looking good, looking strong. Julian Godfrey comes over the lead. He is going to be the best of the Brits and therefore take the points. But the honour of being the first Supercar Final winner at Silverstone goes to Sebastian Loeb. Chequered flag is waved. Sebastian Loeb it is who wins from Timmy Hansen's second, and third Andreas Backerud. Julian Godfrey is going to come through for fourth place ahead of Steve Hill, and so Godfrey effectively wins the British part, if you like, of that Supercar Final from Hill, and then Roger Thomas behind him. So, one round of the championship down. Julian Godfrey leaves Silverstone as the championship leader, 3 points ahead of Steve Hill. Roger Thomas third, ahead of Mark Higgins and Kevin Proctor. From one of the newest circuits in Rallycross, Silverstone, to one of the oldest. We're at Linden Hill in Kent in the sunshine on Easter Monday for this second round of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship, and it's going to be a great day. O'Donovan heads the points from Mark Higgins and Julian Godfrey third, and Jake Harris impressively fourth ahead of Steve Hill, and then Liam Duran. We're ready for the main event, the MSA British Rallycross Championship Final. 6 laps with Mark Higgins on pole, Ollie Bennett with him at the front and Ollie O'Donovan on the outside. Liam Duran shares row 2 with Silverstone winner Julian Godfrey, winner in terms of maximum points. Jake Harris, Steve Hill, Mike Manning at the back. It's go! Bennett gets a dreadful start. Steve Hill has to swerve around him. On board with O'Donovan, he will go for the joker lap. Everybody else towards Chesson's Drift. Well, no, because Ollie Bennett and Mike Manning joker as well. Higgins leads the way. Liam Duran tries to get up the inside of him. Duran and his home circuit up on the tail of the Manxman. There are the jokers coming back onto the circuit. So you can see how much real estate they lose as Mark Higgins leads now, turning his way up through the Devil's Elbow, heading up Hairy Hill. First of 6 laps here. Spray thrown into the face of Liam Duran. A very sideways Higgins goes out wide, door is left open, he comes back across the road, and there's just a bit of contact as Higgins snakes back in front of him. Liam Duran comes down towards paddock. He took that whack on the left front. Higgins goes way out wide. Here comes Duran. This is his chance to challenge. A face full of mud. He's got broken suspension. Look, front left is broken, and Duran's going to be out of the race. You saw the wheel wobbling. It's a legacy of the contact at the hairpin, so Higgins survives. He leads the way, but Liam Duran with a broken front left corner is out of the race. So Julian Godfrey goes up into second. Remember, he took maximum points at Silverstone, the best of the British Championship registered drivers. It's Jake Harris running third and Ollie O'Donovan fourth. Now O'Donovan has already done the joker lap, so he is going to be one to watch here to see whether he can close sufficiently to then assume the race lead when Higgins, Godfrey and others serve their joker. Down to paddock they come. This is Mark Higgins' view. Doesn't have to worry about Liam Duran behind him on this lap, so it's head down and concentrate. He can attack, he can push, he doesn't have to defend. Godfrey goes through in second spot. There for third is Jake Harris. He will joker, so O'Donovan will move ahead of him this time around. There is Julian Godfrey going through. Jake Harris slides his way across the loose. Ollie Bennett will get ahead of him. It was a bad start by Bennett, but he's responding and recovering well. Wide goes Jake Harris as he powers along the Dover slope now into the Devil's Elbow, and you can see how much standing water there is there. There have been moments of sunshine at Linden today, but it's a very treacherous track surface they've all got to cope with now. Up to the hairpin goes Harris, turns his way through the right-hander. Bennett ahead of him went wide, and Mark Higgins leads, but is Julian Godfrey just a fraction closer to him? Godfrey, hugely experienced in rallycross terms, 5 times a British champion, super national champion as well. O'Donovan into Chesson's Drift, being chased by Bennett. There is Higgins, the leader, nearly a second and a half to the good now over Julian Godfrey. Mark Higgins had a pretty challenging day at Silverstone, as did most in the conditions. Here, though, he has responded well from a mistake made in Q1, and he leads the final in only his second outing in supercars in British Rallycross. O'Donovan was wide into the gravel on the outside of the Devil's Elbow there. There's Mike Manning in the Subaru, adding welcome variety. Good to have the Welshman back in the championship. Steve Hill's got a problem. I've been saying all day how well the car is going, but when it matters, it's let him down. Sorry, Steve. The Mitsubishi coasts to paddock. Mark Higgins comes across the line. He's looking good for a race win now. With O'Donovan having slithered wide last time at the Devil's Elbow, that will delay him. Godfrey gets the joker out of the way now. And he's back on track. Where is he in relation to Ollie O'Donovan? He's ahead, but only just. Up through the gears goes O'Donovan now. The drivers here all the time coping with limited visibility, and even with four-wheel drive, limited traction. The road is so slippery, of course, because you go off the track onto the grass, you bring that onto the road. As soon as you've been across the loose surface, you're bringing that onto the tarmac as well. Mix it all together with the rain, it is very slippy indeed. This is O'Donovan's view. Hard on the power, plunges downhill. Onto his last lap, though, goes Mark Higgins for Albertech Racing. Is this going to be his day of days? The National Centre for Motorsport Engineering students that run this car are going to cheer him to the echo as well. Godfrey and O'Donovan go to the Joker, go to Cheston's Drift, as across the Joker is Higgins. And he stays ahead, does he? Yes, he does! Mark Higgins it is who leads the way. Onto Dover Slope he comes. Julian Godfrey second, Ollie O'Donovan third, Steve Hill retiring in the background. But this has been a mighty effort. Mark Higgins leads for Albertech Racing. Here is Mike Manning battling on in the Subaru as he hits the loose at Cheston's Drift. So Mark Higgins had that early brush with Liam Duran, but he looks as though he's going to come through and score a victory. Through paddock he comes. Round 2 of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship is won by the Manxman Mark Higgins. Second goes the way of Julian Godfrey. Ollie O'Donovan takes third. Jake Harris fourth ahead of Ollie Bennett, and Mike Manning rounds out the top 6. And Mark Higgins has laid down a marker here at Liddon Hill. This weekend, in glorious sunshine, the MSA British Rallycross Championship visits Croft, its first of 2 visits, and an action-packed day ahead. So let's have a look at the championship. 2 rounds in, 4 points separate Julian Godfrey from Mark Higgins. It's going to be tough this year. Steve Hill's third ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, then it's Roger Thomas and Kevin Proctor. The drivers look towards the lights, which in a moment will blink green to unleash the cars. Now, great start made by Ollie O'Donovan. He's going to just nose through into the lead of the race. Steve Hill has made a great start as well. The Mitsubishi ahead on the outside. He's going to run out of road, though, I fear. There's a really sideways Higgins who goes wide into the dirt. And actually, Steve Hill comes out of the gravel ahead. Steve Hill on the outside line just has the advantage. Ollie O'Donovan tries to force up the inside of him. They go through the chicane, and it will be O'Donovan who leads the way. He had 1 win last year, that was at Liddon, and he looks to lead at Croft. Up into second place goes Andy Scott, and Steve Hill drops back into third. Julian Godfrey behind him, then Mark Higgins comes up round the outside. Godfrey was effectively the winner at Silverstone because he was the best place of those registered for points, even though it was Sebastian Loeb who was the on-the-road race winner. And Mark Higgins, remember, won at Liddon last time out, on board with Steve Hill. Just dropping away slightly as they come across the loose onto the tarmac once more. Turning their way now out of Fairbow. There is Mark Higgins, the Manxman hustling on. Julian Godfrey clear of Mad Mark at the moment. Mad Mark Watson behind him as you go on board with Godfrey. Peering through the screen, getting ever more splattered. But Julian Godfrey, a vastly experienced rallycrosser. Steve Hill slows, look round the outside of him goes Higgins. Whoa, big contact and a huge off. That is Julian Godfrey. A mighty impact straight away. The red flag flies. And Mad Mark sees it all happening and turns the car around to go and assist, which is great to see. Julian Godfrey then launched into a huge roll. That's Steve Hill running across to his aid to try and get the door open. And the race is stopped. The engine notes rise, lights go green. It's blast off. Look at Scott weaving his way through the traffic. Straight away he's on his toes. Down towards Clairvaux, and Steve Mundy again has trouble getting off the line as O'Donovan runs wide out of Clairvaux, but he keeps Mark Higgins at bay. Through they turn now, making the run up towards the right, left, into the chicane here. So what you're seeing is actually the third attempt at running the final, and because Andy Scott was the guilty party, he was put to the back of the grid. So had it not been for that, he could be the man up front, leaving everybody else in his wake. As it is, he's trying to fight his way up from third place. O'Donovan completely sideways ahead of Higgins, who can't really squeeze up the inside of him there. The dust settles as they power their way towards the line once again. O'Donovan, though, is looking oh so strong. Higgins chases on behind. Mark Higgins' car, run by the National Centre for Motorsport Engineering up in Bolton. 3 times a British Rally champion, Mark Higgins, Mad Mark, multiple Rallycross Open champion in years gone by, and the lead battle is still well and truly joined because O'Donovan is under attack from Higgins once again. Fastest part of the circuit, this on the loose. Higgins to the outside line. He's going to run out of road though. Can he go all the way around the outside? Both of them on the limit, down to the tarmac. O'Donovan flicks the tail of the car out as a deterrent. Scott up the curve on the inside. Higgins is throwing everything at this to try to get past O'Donovan, but he just can't quite do it as they start the last lap now. Down towards the right at Clervaux once again. Through they turn. Ride the curb. The 3 leaders still somewhat elasticated. The gaps come down at certain points and stretch at others. This is Andy Scott's rather limited view now. It's hot work inside the car on a very hot day. Higgins bouncing his way across the loose, and now they dive down towards the last corner. It's now or never. Is there a gap on the inside? No. O'Donovan in the venerable Ford Focus positions. The car gets a tap in the tail, but he's going to come out ahead, or is he? He's wide. He's just got the momentum to drag the car from the grass to the lead. Contact on the line. They hit again. Broken suspension for O'Donovan. Airborne was Higgins, but O'Donovan will be the winner.
Ollie, a fantastic start in the final, led from start to finish, but really close with Mark at the end, and you crossed the finish line with 3 wheels.
We were lucky, I suppose. Our game plan, we came to try and bag points. Happy with the top 3, as I said to you earlier today. I mean, the podium would have been great, and we got there. Lucky to get there. Bit of an incident coming into the last corner. Mark running up the back, maybe a bit dusty or whatever, and took a wheel off the car, and I think we had about 100 metres to go. And we got there just by hundredths of a second, but hey-oh, still a win.
So what does all that do to the championship? The answer is that Mark Higgins leads now by 4 points. Julian Godfrey is just 2 ahead of Ollie O'Donovan. Steve Hill is 4. This is a crucial weekend for the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship. We move to Pembrey in South Wales, and this is part 1 of a double header. Lots of work has gone on here at Pembrey. We have a new circuit coming into this weekend. The start line is in a different place, the finish is in a different place, and the Joker lap is, as ever, going to give drama. Yesterday was all action. Mark Higgins versus Ollie O'Donovan in the final. There was contact early on though. Julian Godfrey and Mark Higgins got together. Both suffered a puncture. Higgins' damage was worse, and as he dropped to the very back and then retired from the race, Ollie O'Donovan fended off the challenge of Steve Hill to come through not only for victory, but for an all-important 2nd win of the season. In the championship, O'Donovan now 3 points up on Mark Higgins. He in turn is 2 ahead of Julian Godfrey, with Steve Hill 4th and Roger Thomas 5th. Day 2 here at Pembrey means we run the circuit in the opposite direction. Away from the start, turn sharp right now through Ollie's, then towards the loose. There's the Joker lap to contend with, 2 hairpins as well, and the fast tarmac section.
Ollie O'Donovan, victory here at Pembrey in round 4. You're leading the championship, the first double win of the season. What are your hopes for today in round 5?
Well, everything is looking good, car's feeling good. I'd like to make sure I stay on the podium all day if I can, try and stay in the top 3 for the hunt. We got Kevin Proctor joining us again today, so it'll be another car contention for a fight. Important to try and stay at the front row for a final. Obviously pole is best, but you know, we'll just play our day and try and protect the car for the final.
Kevin Proctor, you've missed the last couple of rounds. Gearbox issues early in the season. Are they sorted here for Pembrey?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we've done some work on the gearbox, and hopefully it's going to be okay today. Yeah, just looking forward to going racing again.
We're getting ready for the Supercar Final. Mark Higgins has been the man to beat all day. In Q1, it was a lively opener. Higgins threaded his way through the traffic, also benefiting from a big Ford Focus fight between Ollie O'Donovan and Roger Thomas. Higgins fastest in Q1. When we got to Q2, he was the man to beat again. Julian Godfrey battled early doors with Ollie O'Donovan, but as the scraps continued, Mark Higgins was the fastest. And high drama at the start of Q3 that very nearly eliminated everybody. Higgins was avoided by an errant Steve Hill, and guess what? He was a race winner again. It means that after qualifying, Mark Higgins will be top. He has taken the fastest time in each of the 3 qualifying runs. The lights will go green any second. Now it is blast off, and a good start by O'Donovan. That is going to be absolutely crucial. Mark Higgins almost into the back of him. Kevin Proctor elbowing his way up on the inside of Roger Thomas as they break for Ollie's, but O'Donovan has done it. O'Donovan leads the way. Thomas is all sideways, losing out to Proctor and Godfrey. Ollie O'Donovan leads the way. Kevin Proctor goes for the Joker lap, and now multiple British Rally champion Mark Higgins has got a lot of work to do to try to find his way up past Ollie O'Donovan. Many more years of rallycross knowledge in the yellow Ford Focus compared to the green and white Albatech Peugeot. What can Higgins do now about O'Donovan? We've seen plenty of others go for the Joker and get that out of the way early on, such as Proctor and Hill and Thomas. Godfrey then chases Higgins. Higgins chases O'Donovan, but Ollie O'Donovan is in the box seat, no question. The London-based Irishman leads the way. Mark Higgins there in second spot. The Manxman hustling on behind him as they come to the loose. Higgins, winner at Lynn yesterday, didn't finish and therefore scored badly. As Proctor's off the road and round he goes. The leader O'Donovan has jokered, there he is, but Kevin Proctor has thrown it away. Too much speed on a new circuit to him, runs onto the grass and loses it. So the order changes again. Julian Godfrey now leads behind Ollie O'Donovan, and then it's Mark Higgins. Higgins right up behind O'Donovan. Can he find a way by? Up through the gears they go. A long speedway straight into the Brooklands hairpin. Down to second gear. Turn left. O'Donovan ready to hook another gear if he needs to. Everywhere Mark Higgins wants to be, O'Donovan is there in anticipation. Places the car just in, as far as Higgins is concerned, the wrong place. Higgins takes a tighter line there through centres towards Ollie's, closes the gap, but he's not really able there, look, to find a way by. Through they turn, across the loose section of the circuit. Julian Godfrey now goes for the Joker lap, gets that out of the way as the race leaders sprint through paddock, down to the hairpin of Carter's hairpin. Up through the gears goes O'Donovan. Way out wide goes Julian Godfrey, mows the lawn. There is Steve Hill behind. Higgins again hurls the car up towards the Brooklands hairpin, now through Toyos, but O'Donovan, who is absolutely focused on that mirror, knows absolutely where he has to put the car. They're on the last lap. Higgins has tried everything but to no avail. A little bit deep into the corner there as he had to come off the throttle. Meantime, there's another good fight going on, and that is between Kevin Proctor and Roger Thomas. Out of the hairpin they now turn. Thomas drifts out wide and he's going to scrub off speed in the process. Down towards paddock, Higgins needs somehow to get up the inside coming out of the hairpin, but O'Donovan slows the car down on the apex, and that means Higgins can't get up the inside. O'Donovan now powers away. It looks as though it's going to be a third victory in 5 rounds for Ollie O'Donovan. Higgins, after his puncture yesterday, at least will score points, but he wanted a win. He needed a win for the championship, but it's not going to happen. Ollie O'Donovan is a happy man. He wins. It's 2 out of 2 at Pembrey for Ollie O'Donovan. Second goes the way of Mark Higgins, and Julian Godfrey comes through with Steve Hill behind in the Mitsubishi. O'Donovan celebrates a double at Pembrey. So what does today do to the championship? It means Ollie O'Donovan stretches that margin over Mark Higgins. Julian Godfrey is third ahead of Steve Hill. Roger Thomas fifth ahead of Mad Mark. This weekend, the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship revisits Croft. It was the scene of high drama last time out. What will be in store today?
Ollie O'Donovan, you come in leading the MSA British Rallycross Championship, a hat-trick of victories, first here at Croft and then a double-header at Pembrey. You must be feeling confident ahead of this weekend.
Oh, we're feeling good, Hal, but I mean, we can't go far away from the game plan. Game plan, stay on the podium, take it nice and steady during the day, and you know, if we get a bit of luck in the final like we did in the last 2 events, of course we're going to take that. But I think we'll just try and be happy to stay on the podium.
Steve, you went on to the pre-grid for Q3 but then drove off again. What happened?
I did a second practice launch and I broke the rear diff. Lucky enough, it's the first one we've ever broken. We don't quite know why yet, but we'll obviously look at that. But it's already fixed.
The car's down on the ground, ready for the final. The grids aren't decided yet at the time we're talking, but what are you hoping for grid-wise?
I'm hoping we'll probably still be on second row, but it depends on whether a DNF or a did not start makes a difference.
Mark, a pretty consistent day for you here at Croft, but a few problems in Q3. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's been horrendous conditions as you've seen, so we haven't really had a proper clean run, but it's a stone came up and knocked the wiper blade off, which is pretty unlucky, to be honest, and we had no vision whatsoever, so we're just lucky to get round and get some points and still be on the front row for the final, which you never know what's going to happen. Kevin's going to be pushing really hard for a win, so we're just going to see what goes on in front of us and try and slot in somewhere and get a good result at the end.
Kevin, a solid day for you. 2 fastest times on your home circuit, front row of the grid for the final. What can you do from there?
Hopefully get to the front and win the final. That's the aim. The weather conditions are suiting us, and that's my plan.
Bit of creeping from Julian Godfrey as we go racing. The cars accelerate away. Good start by Mark Higgins, but not as good as those around him. Steve Hill's view down towards Clervaux. The road is drier, the road is faster than it was at the start of the day, but Godfrey leads the way as Proctor, after also a fairly pocked start, elbows Mark Higgins aside, and Ollie O'Donovan will go back through on the inside of Higgins, who is in real strife on the outside line, losing place after place there. Roger Thomas goes into the chicane, but Julian Godfrey leads the pack, and he certainly wants a win here to avenge what happened in May when the car cartwheeled to a seeming destructive end. He leads ahead of Kevin Proctor. Ollie O'Donovan, the championship leader, is third. Then it's Steve Hill, and behind him, look, Mark Higgins. O'Donovan out of the hairpin. Steve Hill's got a problem, has he? He's slow, but he gets going now, and others seem to bog down, including Roger Thomas. You carry all that speed into the hairpin, but then, if you're slow the other side, you lose momentum badly, and Liam Manning gaining a place. Proctor off wide at Clervaux, through the gravel and back on again. He is trying very hard indeed, maybe too hard, because Julian Godfrey is still clear up front. Ollie O'Donovan now coming into the chicane. He, remember, is the man that leads the championship, and Roger Thomas has got a problem. He has slowed right down. O'Donovan, championship leader, losing out relative to Julian Godfrey. He's ahead of Mark Higgins, but if he hangs on to a race win here, this is going to set Julian Godfrey up very nicely indeed, no question about it. Through they come across the loose. Proctor chasing on. Is the gap coming down a little? In a straight line here, Proctor always displays good bravery. Down towards Clervaux. Julian Godfrey, 5 times a champion, leads the way. Proctor clips the marker tyres on the inside. O'Donovan understeers out wide. Roger Thomas limps to retirement. The rain is starting to fall. Conditions are worsening late in the day. That's O'Donovan off the road. O'Donovan has got a problem. Is that the right front corner that's gone? No, is that a puncture or suspension? It's a breakage. Suspension breakage for Ollie O'Donovan in the wet. Steve Hill goes through. Mark Higgins should go through as well. So places are changing late in the race, and Ollie O'Donovan, the championship leader after those 3 wins on the bounce, all of a sudden has got big dramas. Higgins has gone through, you can see him there. And Ollie O'Donovan is trying to limp home, but if the wheel parts company, he might not have a say in it. There's a lap to go, and getting away now, look, is Julian Godfrey. Kevin Proctor dropping away a little bit in second place. But now, as the weather conditions worsen, it could be that survival is key rather than outright pace. Up to the chicane comes Higgins now, pressing on well. So Ollie O'Donovan's dramas have helped Mark Higgins to gain more points. He's sideways out of the chicane. Checkered flag at the ready, and the weather conditions are going to be, at the end of the day, as they were at the start, treacherous. Marshals have done a great job standing out in it all day. Julian Godfrey, however, looks like he is going to master the conditions. He's on his way up towards the line, up towards the checkered flag, and Julian Godfrey wins at Croft. Kevin Proctor will take second, and third should go the way of a sideways Mark Higgins, but all of this is going to have a really significant effect in the championship. O'Donovan, with the front right wheel barely doing anything, limps to the line. That's the benefit of four-wheel drive for you. And the wheel almost off the car as Ollie O'Donovan limps home at Croft. Julian Godfrey becomes the new championship leader. Ollie O'Donovan slips to second, equal with Mark Higgins. Steve Hill is fourth. The Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship heads back to Lidenhill in Kent, the spiritual home of Rallycross, with some great machinery on display.
Mark, we've just pulled you away from looking at the data with your spotter. David, coming from a rallying background, how crucial is it to be able to look over the laps immediately after you've come in from a rallycross race?
Yeah, I mean, very important, especially here when you're looking for tenths, and sometimes what can potentially feel fast isn't fast. So it's just good to have that confirmation afterwards, and having the spot is important. I'm used to having somebody whittering in my ear on rallying, so having Dave there's a really big help for us.
Julian Godfrey, Mark Higgins, Ollie O'Donovan. The top three in the championship set to go head-to-head. Q1 at the start of the day fell to Mark Higgins. He made a perfect start, fended off welcome returnee Ollie Bennett, topped the times, a win in the first supercar race of the day. It was a great effort by Higgins, returning to the scene of his first and so far only win in the championship this year. In the second race there was tough opposition for the championship leader Julian Godfrey. There was Kevin Proctor, there was Ollie O'Donovan. Ollie O'Donovan was the man in form and he came through to score the race win. Q2 had early drama. Steve Hill losing it at the Devil's Elbow. Contact with Jake Harris avoided. Harris came through to win his race. Q2 got underway with Julian Godfrey blasting away from the outside of the front row of the grid. He was desperate to try and attack and do what he could to work his way up into contention and be fastest, which he was, just ahead of Mark Higgins. Ollie O'Donovan blasted away, a good start in Q3, working his way across the loose section of the circuit, and O'Donovan looking strong as he accelerated his way down through paddock. For O'Donovan, an important race win. So, at the end of qualifying, Mark Higgins it is, ahead of Ollie Bennett and Kevin Proctor. Ollie O'Donovan fourth, Julian Godfrey fifth. He didn't joker in his last race and copped a penalty. The lights go green and we are racing, and a demon stop by O'Donovan from the second row. Elbows his way up the middle, there's contact as Proctor bounces off Bennett. Proctor jokers, Godfrey jokers. Julian Godfrey making sure he doesn't forget this time. He gets it out of the way on the opening lap of the race. Through they come then. It is Mark Higgins leading within second place, chasing after him right on his tail, Ollie O'Donovan. Those that have got the joker out of the way now can concentrate on picking back the places, making up that lost time. Higgins leads. This is O'Donovan's view as they go up the hill towards the hairpin. There's a gap on the inside, is there? There is now. O'Donovan gets out his elbows, two bits of contact, he elbows his way alongside Higgins. He's gone through. Mark Higgins on the outside line, tries to fight back, but Ollie O'Donovan goes through. The Ford Fiesta goes ahead of the Peugeot 208, they're back onto tarmac, and Higgins gets that joker out of the way. If he can't get past on the track, can he do it on the undercut on the joker lap? Let's see. He's got to be really quick about this. There is O'Donovan leading on the road ahead of Bennett, and then it's Hill in third place. Higgins is the best of those that have served a joker. He runs fourth for the moment. What he wants to try to do now is press on, close onto the traffic ahead and try and get back ahead when O'Donovan serves the joker. So Ollie O'Donovan, who has been very much the man to beat really this season, he's already taken 3 victories in the supercar category. He's a former British champion, comes down then through paddock, chased by Ollie Bennett. Good to have him back. There is Steve Hill in third place. We've got Pembrey and we've got Silverstone still to go in the championship this year as Higgins two-wheels his way up the curb, and over the curb goes Julian Godfrey. Now Godfrey came here as the championship leader. Steve Hill gets ahead of O'Donovan, who stays ahead of Higgins. That is very important indeed. Ollie O'Donovan in real terms is still the race leader because he'll inherit track position back again when Steve Hill serves the joker. So double OD, Ollie O'Donovan it is, still leading. Mark Higgins is second. Look back from Steve Hill's Mitsubishi. O'Donovan closing up under braking. Through the hairpin they turn now. Up to fourth gear. And you can see as O'Donovan stands on the brakes and the back wags and he's closing on the Mitsubishi. Ollie O'Donovan, ever spectacular driver, rides the curb. Mark Higgins chases after him, but really now what Mark needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to make a mistake and drift out wide. It's not for happening seemingly as they come across the loose. Ollie O'Donovan leads the way, Mark Higgins second, Jake Harris was slow in the background. The gap's coming down between the two race leaders, but can Mark Higgins do anything about the man in front of him now? There is Kevin Proctor, across the loose he comes. And Mark Higgins continues to push. All it needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to look in his mirror, get distracted and run a bit deep, and Higgins will be on him. Donovan though is on target for the win. He's on his last lap and Mark Higgins chasing, just can't quite get there. Through the chicane they turn further back. Steve Hill ahead of Julian Godfrey, and this is really significant for the championship. O'Donovan set for a win, Higgins set for second, and Godfrey dropping places. It's going to turn things on its head again in the title fight. It has been some season this year, really good, and we're not done yet. Mark Higgins' arrival on the scene has given it this real injection of fresh blood, if you like, somebody new to rallycross from rallying, new machinery for Julian Godfrey, the ex-James Grint Mitsubishi, so it's all change. Ollie O'Donovan, though, is set for win number 4 of the season. The checkered flag is at the ready. Ollie O'Donovan wins at Lyddon. Mark Higgins takes second, and Ollie Bennett on the podium. A great drive as he comes through for 3rd place. So an all-action day at Lyddon, and it puts Mark Higgins back into the lead in the championship. He's 3 points ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, and Julian Godfrey now falls to 3rd. From Lyddon, and a great day of racing, controversial at times, but full of action. The series heads back to South Wales. One day of action coming up next at Pembrey. We're getting to the pointy end of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship. There are just 2 more rounds to go. The first of them is back here at Pembrey in South Wales.
Mark Higgins, round 8 of the MSA British Rallycross Championship. We're getting to the pointy end now. You've taken 2 wins so far this year, leading the points coming here. It's getting quite close.
Yeah, it's very close, and actually on drop scores we are a little bit behind still, so it's all to play for in the last round. The way the points work is that you can't drop your last score, so nobody knows what's going on until we get to Silverstone. It's great, it's so close, and it could go any way, and we know what rallycross is like, anything can happen, and it normally does.
Looking forward, you won here twice in June at the doubleheader event, so you obviously like this circuit?
Yeah, I like the circuit. It's a technical circuit. It's tight and twisty. I like the track. The track is working. They've modified it again this time slightly, which is put in a very tight square left after the start. Bit apprehensive about what's going to happen there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Mark Higgins starts on pole position from Julian Godfrey and Ollie O'Donovan. Row 2 is Tony Bardi and Steve Hill, and then it's Liam Manning and Nigel Burke at the back of the grid. First corner is going to be crucial. Lights go to green. Great start by Godfrey. Mark Higgins bogs down a little. He's on the inside of O'Donovan. There's contact between the two. Higgins elbowing his way up the inside. O'Donovan elbowing his way up the other side. They touch again, and it's Higgins that comes a cropper. He gets fired out onto the grass. Ollie O'Donovan in uncompromising form. The 2 cross swords, remember, at Lyddon. There, O'Donovan got a penalty, and here it is Higgins that comes off worse because he's dropped to the back of the pack. He got roughed up in Q3, and it's happened again. Godfrey leads the way then. Second is O'Donovan. In third, it is Tony Bardi. And Bardi, remember, needs to stay ahead of Higgins. He's teammate to O'Donovan, and he'll take points away from the Albertech racing driver. On board with Higgins as Godfrey leads the pack. Up they turn through the Brooklands hairpin. Now Mark Higgins tries to find a way past the massively experienced Tony Bardi. Higgins looks the quicker. Can he find a gap on the inside? Slides, gets a tighter line, but he can't quite get up alongside the Ford Focus, or can he? No. Had a go, fishtails out of the corner, now goes for the Joker lap, gets that out of the way, hoping that he'll then get clear circuit space ahead of him, and as others Joker, he can pick up the places. Through the dust storm goes Higgins, and he gets back on just ahead of Liam Manning and Steve Hill's cars there. So you've got Higgins coming down now towards the hairpin. Steve Hill chasing after him. There in the background is Manning, he jokered, so it's Nigel Burke ahead of him, in fact, through the dust cloud. As you look at Julian Godfrey here, coming to the loose section of the circuit. Bouncing his way then on towards the Joker lap section of the circuit. You should be able to stay ahead of Ollie O'Donovan here, and therefore come out ahead Tony Bardi Jokers. That should give Mark Higgins a place. This is O'Donovan's view through the dust. Steve Hill goes for the Joker lap also, incidentally, so it's now Godfrey leading. Second is O'Donovan. Is Higgins back up into the top 3? There he is, yes, he's ahead of Bardi now, onto Speedway Straight. But really it's been his starts today that have compromised him. I wouldn't say it's been his downfall, because the contact has really hindered him most of all, but you get a bad start, you've got cars around you, and then the contact comes. So Mark admitting after qualifying, starts haven't been his forte, hoping that he got a better run and there was no contact at the start of the final, and the opposite happened. So there is the multiple British Rally champion chasing after Ollie O'Donovan as he pendulums his way towards the loose. So Julian Godfrey leads the way. It's been an amazing debut season in the championship for Mark Higgins, the Albertech racing man, 2 wins. Julian Godfrey heading for a second. Ollie O'Donovan, of course, 3 wins. There is Godfrey, out of the hairpin, just drifts a little bit wide, but he's only really got a couple of corners to go now. It is going to be seemingly a win for Julian Godfrey as he sprints his way towards the Brooklands hairpin. There he is in second place. It's going to be Ollie O'Donovan, and Mark Higgins set for third now. Checkered flag at the ready, and Julian Godfrey wins at Pembrey. Second goes to Ollie O'Donovan, and third to Mark Higgins at the end of another very lively race. Championship then, 8 rounds in. Mark Higgins leads by a point from Ollie O'Donovan and then Julian Godfrey. But if you take drop scores into account, O'Donovan moves into the championship lead, 4 ahead of Godfrey. Higgins 1 adrift in third. The final round of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship brings us back to Silverstone, where it all began in March, and a 3-way showdown for the 2018 title.
There's 3 of you right in the title fight here. What are your expectations from today?
I'm really not thinking about it. I just think we need to go and have a good race, good clean race, and see what happens. We can only do our thing, and what happens behind happens behind. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's quite a big grid here today as well, which opens it all up. We know the permutations, so all we can do is our best.
Julian Godfrey, you're a 5-time MSA British Rallycross champion. You're well used to being in these title fights. What are your expectations from today here at Silverstone?
I hope we have a clean run to start with. Hopefully qualify so that I'm at least on the front row of the final. That's my aim for today.
Ollie O'Donovan, you come to the final round of the MSA British Rallycross Championship here at Silverstone, leading the points. What's your strategy for this morning? It's a little bit damp out there.
It's a little bit damp at Hal. Track is quite good though, it's not bad. They seem to have taken that layer of silt off the top. We know if it goes wet it'll be a lottery track. If it stays dry it'll be a bit of racing on it, and I'm in good form. I'm looking forward to it.
Here at Silverstone, there is one more championship to be resolved. It is the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship, where Mark Higgins, Dan Rook and Julian Godfrey are on the front row of the grid, ahead of Pat Duran and Ollie O'Donovan, then Mike Manning, Steve Hill and Liam Manning. 3 drivers in with a chance as the lights go green. It's between Mark Higgins, Julian Godfrey and Ollie O'Donovan. O'Donovan from the second row trying to work his way through the traffic. Dan Rook here to take points off the other 2 as Julian Godfrey goes wide. Rook gets up the inside, does he? No, he doesn't. He is behind the 2 drivers he's going to take points away from, and he's ahead of Ollie O'Donovan. So how do they get Ollie up the order now? On board with Dan Rook, heading across the loose section. Higgins leads. Julian Godfrey is there in second spot, and this will be enough to give Mark Higgins the championship if Ollie O'Donovan is still stuck down the order. Brake hard now as they come through turn 7. There is Pat Duran, whoops, who gets into the back of Dan Rook and turns him sideways and into the barriers. Dan Rook delayed, Ollie O'Donovan goes through, he gains a place, and he also goes for the joker to get that completed on the very opening lap of the race. But there might be a bit of discussion about the Duran and Rook incident after all of that. Dan, of course, drove for Pat's team a couple of years ago to take the championship. However, right now, contact between the 2, and Dan Rook falls behind Ollie O'Donovan. So really, there's very little he can do now to influence the championship outcome, because he's behind all the 3 drivers who are fighting for the points. Julian Godfrey comes down towards turn 7, and now through that right-hander. Now, where is O'Donovan? Is he getting himself up the order? Remember, he jokered early, so he's trying to pick off places. Dan Rook back ahead of him after that joker lap. Mike Manning goes out a little bit wide. Dan Rook goes through. Rook jokers, so now O'Donovan will go back ahead of him. Over the line come the race leaders. Now there through is Julian Godfrey pushing on. O'Donovan needs to be ahead of the other 2 out of all of this. Mark Higgins needs to win with Godfrey third and O'Donovan behind Julian Godfrey. And right now it is looking pretty good as far as Higgins is concerned. He comes down towards turn 7. O'Donovan through the right-hander at turn 5, and he's got a bit stuck in the traffic now, has Ollie O'Donovan, because right there ahead of him is Mike Manning. Now Mike's not concerned about a championship outcome, he wants the best result he can possibly get. Duran goes for the joker, Higgins goes through turn 1, Mike Manning now gets the joker lap completed, Liam chases after his father, and there over the line goes Ollie O'Donovan. He is still behind the people he needs to be ahead of, including Pat Duran, and Pat also tries to brave it out with him as they go through turn 1, and he stays ahead. Duran here is taking points away from O'Donovan. There is Dan Rook behind, so as I say, he can do nothing now to influence the championship. He's behind the drivers he needs to be ahead of. It's been great to have him back, but Ollie O'Donovan now is stuck behind Pat Duran. Mark Higgins has just gone for the joker lap, incidentally, to serve that. Dan Rook's view here coming out of turn 5, that's the kink at 6, down towards that slippery turn 7. And ahead of him, Duran is fending off Ollie O'Donovan, keeping him at bay. They turn through now. There is Duran, O'Donovan tucked up behind him. Where does Double OD make the move? Pat Durant keeps him at bay into turn 1. O'Donovan is sideways. He brakes so late, fighting the car, but he comes out another length further back. He lost time with that late break and a big slide. There's Higgins, the leader. He comes across the jump. Ollie O'Donovan is working hard, but the championship is ebbing away. Despite the 3 wins that O'Donovan has had at Croft and 2 at Pembrey, it looks like in the final analysis it will not be enough. Durant keeping him at bay. Here's O'Donovan trying to make the move up the inside down to turn 7. There's bodywork flapping as well now as Mark Higgins continues to hold sway up front. He starts the last lap of the race. Julian Godfrey is in 2nd position. Now, to win the championship, Julian Godfrey has got to win the race. He's not going to do so, so Mark Higgins is on target for the title with a lap to go. Dan Rook now has got the impudence to come up to attack the team governor. He's right up behind O'Donovan, whose car is ailing now with a bit of damage at the front. Mark Higgins, though, is down at turn 7 for the last time, and O'Donovan's bonnet flies up, and now he can see nothing. Just to add insult to injury, Ollie O'Donovan can't see where he's going. Now, what do I do, thinks Dan Rook? Do I pass him or leave him for the points? Mark Higgins wins at Silverstone. Mark Higgins wins the British Rallycross Championship. A brilliant drive all day, a brilliant season for a man new into the discipline this year. Mark Higgins is British Rallycross champion. He wins the final round here at Silverstone. Let's do the race results. It's Mark Higgins the winner from Julian Godfrey. Pat Durant ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, who stays ahead of Dan Rook. Steve Hill 6th, with Mike and Liam Manning 7th and 8th.
A strong day from yourself and the whole Albertech team, and a dominant drive in the final to wrap up the crown.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really good day, but it was open to anybody. You know, 3 of us could have won it. It was to win a championship. I'm over the moon. It's great, and you know, massive thanks to the team, Albertech, the college, obviously Eddie Stobart for supporting me again. No, it's a good day today.
At the end of the season, Mark Higgins, the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross champion. Ollie O'Donovan 2nd and Julian Godfrey in 3rd. At the end of an all-action season, Mark Higgins celebrates the British Rallycross title. Well done.